the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I'm not gonna hold you. Season 3, episode 9. We are live. It is Thursday, November 10th, 2022. Man, the year is moving by pretty quickly, man. We almost at Thanksgiving, man. As usual, I'm your host, Scott. You know, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at BarbChair Scott. You know to follow this amazing media company that you're watching this on, H&B Media and H&B Media TV on Twitter and at H&B Media on Instagram. You can follow the Barber's Chair Network at Barber's Chair Net on Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/Barber's Chair Network. Visit the site, bcnet.com. The Barber's Chair Shop will be coming soon, man. We got a lot of stuff to get into today, man. We're going to talk a little bit of NBA. We're going to recap what happened week 9 in the NFL, talk about week 10, you know what I'm saying, get into my, all my must-watch games and things of that nature, man. Of course, Goofy Mog of the Week. But before we start, I want to get into my sound off, and I changed my sound off last minute. I was going to take this time to congratulate Dusty Baker on winning the World Series. And by the way, congratulations to Dusty Baker. Congratulations to the World Series champion, Houston Astros. I know a lot of people don't like the Astros because they're cheating shit, but you can't say nothing about them now because now they won 2 of them, man. So, but salute to Dusty, man. I always felt like, Dusty is and was a walking Hall of Famer. Should have been in the Hall of Fame. I always felt like he got the wrong end of the stick when it came to a situation with the Cubs ended. So it was good to see him get his due, man. It's good to see a black man win a World Series championship. If I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's the first black manager to win a World Series. If he's not, he's like number 2. I got to double check on it. Don't quote me, but I think he's at least in the top percentile. There's not a lot of us. But I changed my sound off last minute because last week on this show, I had a segment where I was talking about Kyrie Irving. Now, if you think I'm going to backtrack on those comments, you got the wrong guy. You should probably turn this off if you think that's what I'm going to do. But my take here today was last week I said that I felt Kyrie was the idiot. I felt Kyrie should be suspended for the things he said. And then as soon as I put out that clip, maybe like an hour or 2 later, the actual news of him being suspended came out with Adam Silver and the NBA saying they were going to suspend him for at least 5 games with no pay and things of that nature. And that came after his second opportunity to apologize last week in his press conference, and he pretty much doubled down. I put that video out, and I got a lot of negative comments, to say the least. There's a lot of people. I got everything from house nigga to coon to Uncle Tom, you tap dancing for white people. I got it all. Now, let's be very clear. I don't give a damn about what internet trolls have to say. You're just going to talk. A lot of y'all don't even exist, and you would never say that to my face to begin with. Now, the problem I had was people that I know saying things and slick comments on the internet. Now, I'm not here to address that. I've already had conversations with these people off the internet, so we're all good to go on that. My thing is this. We need to, you're not going to question my blackness or anybody who is going up against these negative things that Kyrie Irving or Kanye West saying. I'm not even going to talk about Kanye West because Kanye just needs to be on his medication. That's a whole other conversation I'm not even going to get into right now. Kyrie Irving got suspended, and while I do feel that this, I guess, six the step of 6 steps that he has to do to get reinstated is a little bit much. But if he would have apologized in the first 2 opportunities that they gave him, he wouldn't be here in this situation to begin with. I know he put out the little Instagram apology, maybe a day or 2 after the suspension came out. I'm just going to be very clear. Like, this is my show. It's called I'm Not Going to Hold You. I call it I'm Not Going to Hold You because I'm going to say what's on my mind, whether good or bad, whether you agree with me or you don't agree with me. And I don't have a problem with people disagreeing with me. We're all adults here. Well, most of us are who watch this show. And we can have these conversations online and offline in a different kind of matter. But when it comes to a situation like this, I had a lot of people saying that, well, you shouldn't be turning on your brother like that. You can't be saying stuff like that in public. Look at the narrative you're trying to set out. Use your platform the way you did. First of all, I'm very clear on how to use my platform. Let's be very clear about that. Nobody's gonna tell me how to use my platform. I know how to use my platform. I'm gonna continue to use my platform. Number two, I'm not finna agree with anybody just because they're black. That's just some shit that I'm just not gonna do. I don't give a damn if you black, white, Asian, whatever. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Wrong is wrong. And I understand the anger that comes from my people when, yeah, I wish that if you said something negative about black people, that everything just shut down. You know what I'm saying? And you get all this stuff taken. I wish it would. I wish it was the same way. But at the same time, being negative towards a different sector of people don't make the situation right. Two wrongs don't make a right. I don't give a damn what you say. That's how it's going to forever be in my mind. And I feel like to the point where we got to stop using words like Cone and Uncle Tom and things like that when you don't agree with somebody. I think that's some bullshit. And I don't change my opinion. I still think Kyrie is a fucking idiot. I don't think Kyrie is I don't think he hates Jewish people, things of that nature. I don't think it's a situation where where Kanye says stuff. Well, I don't actually feel like Kanye doesn't care about black people. I don't feel that way about Kyrie Irving. I feel that Kyrie does care about his people. I think Kyrie just doesn't know. I feel like in his head, things sound much better than the way they come out. And because he doesn't know how to say the things in his head, he doubles down on the bullshit, which makes it stupid to me. Um, and that's a situation like he had multiple times to apologize. And yes, they're going to make him do a lot of stuff. And I don't think this is a situation where it's a race thing and they're like, oh, we're going to make this black man grovel for his food. No, I think it's a matter of Joe decides, like, I'm gonna get you back for being an asshole the last 2-3 years and putting the franchise through a whole bunch of other shit. This isn't the first thing that has happened with Kyrie Irving. There's multiple other things that we know since he's been a Brooklyn Net, and I think he's using this to get back at him. So that's a whole different other discussion. But mainly my whole point is I'm going to wrap this thing up, is that I'm just not finna be going with shit just because we're all the same race. I feel like that you can't respond to hurtful shit with more hurtful shit. And that's just the way I think about it, man. I'm going to continue to keep my opinion on Kyrie Irving. And when and if Kyrie does some more dumb shit, I'm going to tell you that he's been doing some stupid shit. And that's just how it is, man. And one last thing, and if anybody has a problem with what I'm saying, you can continue to watch the show, or you don't want to continue to watch the show. In the day, you kiss my ass. I don't really care. So moving on to the actual sports section of this TV show, which you are all here to watch. We're going to get into some NBA talk. We're about almost a month into the first season. I mean, into this new season, 22-23 campaign. And it's been outside of like the Milwaukee Bucks and the Cleveland Cavaliers, there really hasn't been a lot of, basketball that's just like been phenomenal right now. It's a lot of mediocre basketball. And if you're a team that's even hovering around 500, I think you're doing pretty good because of like how the real contenders, who's supposed to be the real contenders, are playing. I mean, the Golden State Warriors, they're not playing good. And that goes into a couple of my observations that I have. One, I think the Warriors will be fine. I think this is a terrible start, obviously. 4-7 is not the way we expected them to start. But offensively, they're looking pretty good. Steph Curry is out there looking crazy. You can tell that, he'll never admit it, but that chip of having to get that finals MVP is off his shoulders. And I really feel like he's playing with a freedom that we've never seen Steph play with. And, he's been great. Jordan Poole got to get his stuff together. Those are the rooks or the youngins on this team are not as contributing as fast as we all thought they would contribute. And that's been a big problem. But the number one problem here for this team is the defense stinks. They can't stop nobody. And you're not going to win a championship. You're not going to, win back-to-back if you're not playing at least some type of defense. I understand we're in the NBA where defense comes at a premium, but they've got to be way better than what they are right now. But at the end of the day, I'm not worried about the Warriors. They have the they have earned our trust to give them the benefit of the doubt and that they can get stuff together. It's very, 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 very early into the season. The NBA opening night technically really isn't even until Christmas, and I'm not even going to really form a legit opinion on most teams until like Martin Luther King Day, when we're at least 60-something games, not 60, but at least 30-something, 30, 40-something games into the season. That's when you can make. So I think they'll find a way. Steve Kerr is a great coach. They've got a nice system there. They're going to find a way to right this ship, man. Another observation I got, the Lakers. I was at Staples Center last night. Yes, I'm going to continue to call Staples Center. I don't give a damn that's called the crypto.com arena. I really don't. It's going to be still Staples Center for me. And I'm pretty sure actual LA natives feel the same. I'm not even an LA native. And even in the almost decade I've been here, it's only been called Staples. So I'm going to call it Staples. But anyway, I was at the game last night, Clippers and Lakers. And that's a bad basketball team. The Clippers are pretty smelly right now. I mean, they're getting a little bit of momentum right now. I think they've won like 5 of their last 6. Paul George has been on a crazy scoring barrage right now, and they're doing everything they can without Kawhi Leonard, whose injury I am very concerned about. We actually saw Kawhi walking in the hallway last night, and we were both trying to meet Pappy, TPJ. We was all trying to see if he was walking with a limp or something. We couldn't see it now, but this team is trying to do what they can without Kawhi. And their team, they're still playing mediocre. So for the fact that they were able to beat the Lakers by double digits, and the Lakers are sitting here 2-9, and it's not getting better. It's not going to get better. And I think the players and the leaders on this team know that. I mean, LeBron is a guy who, when he loses, he gets upset. He gets real passive aggressive. You can see it all in his face. That I'm finna trade everybody face. That face, I think he's accepted. This is bad basketball team, and it's really, what am I gonna do about it? And he knows that. Anthony Davis knows that. Russell Westbrook knows that. Deep down, Darvin Ham don't want to admit it because his first job as a head coach. He knows that this team isn't going anywhere. So this is a situation where Jeannie Buss, Rob Pelinka, they decide what are they going to do. Because this type of shit can happen for the rest of the season. There's not a trade on the market that is going to dramatically change the fortunes of this team. Let's just say they did go out there and do that rumored trade that allegedly has been on the table for the summer, which I don't 100% buy, because if it was on the table, why the hell hasn't it been done by now? I don't believe that a draft pick would be that big of a holdup if you're trying to get the best out of LeBron doing this extension that he just signed. So I don't really buy that. I feel like there's something else that they're not telling us why the trade hasn't gone down. But let's just say this. Let's just say it's true. And let's just say they pull the trigger on a Russell Westbrook for a Buddy Hield and a Miles Turner trade. First of all, if you watch Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, I don't know who the hell you think they are. They think they're going to dramatically change the team. I think in the absolute best case scenario, if LeBron James, Anthony Davis stay healthy, if Russell Westbrook continue to play as well off the bench, they can make a trade like that and get contributions from those two. At the best, they'll be a 9 seed. And at that point, what's the point? You're the Los Angeles Lakers. And that might be cool for other franchises. For the Lakers, it's championship or bust. That's just how it always been. That's how it always will be when you're a team like them or like the New York Yankees. And I know Celtic fans don't want to hear that, but I don't look at the Celtic fans in that same vein as like a Yankees or a Lakers just because they went like 30 years without winning anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's been it's been 16, 17 years since they won a other championships. I don't put them in the championship or bust category that I put the Yankees and the Lakers. So they need to figure out what's going to be the next step. You already don't have your draft pick this year. And the last thing you want to do is let Victor Wembanyama, and I hope I pronounced his last name right. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I really hope I pronounced his last name right. To land in New Orleans. Could you imagine him with Zion and Brandon Ingram? Like, you got to call the police at that point. It's literally unfair. So you don't want that. I feel like they need to seriously think about trading Anthony Davis and LeBron James. And I'm not saying this is a hot take. I'm not a hot take artist. But I truly feel like they have to do that. I think they should sit down with LeBron and, be upfront with him and help facilitate a trade to a team that he wants to go to. Now, the thing with LeBron is a little different is what are you going to get for LeBron at his age? And yes, LeBron is still, LeBron James, he's, productive for a guy his age. Now, since those Father Time commercials have run, he's actually been showing signs of Father Time, and then he got injured again last night. So we don't know how long he's going to be out, but they need to find out what you're going to do, because outside of that, you're just wasting his time here. Like, he's going to break Kareem's record at some point this year. It's going to be a great applause. Everybody going to show him love. It's going to be a lot of love on social media. You're going to have the GOAT debate come up for people who are not properly home trained. And I say that because everybody knows who the real GOAT is. But if you're not properly trained, you're going to have the conversation of who's the GOAT. We're going to show love to LeBron for a record that we didn't think was going to be broken. And I guarantee you, in that game that he breaks it, they probably going to be down like 18, like the Kings or some shit like that. And then it's like, what else is there to do in this season? I'm pretty sure LeBron doesn't want to spend the rest of the last remaining days of his career just not being on the team that's competitive. Now, Anthony Davis, you can obviously get a lot more for LeBron. I mean, for LeBron than you can for LeBron. He's like 10 years younger, but he's still hurt all the damn time. You know what I'm saying? It's a weird situation, but I do feel like they need to draw a line in the sand and to figure out what's going to be the next direction of the team, because the way that it is right now is just not cutting it, man. And my final NBA talk before we move on to some football. Nets hire Jacques Vaughn as their new head coach. Maybe they took the interim title off of him. They've actually been playing pretty well the last couple of games. Won last night, beat the brakes off the Knicks. There's been more of a cohesion with the team in these last couple of games. I have to actually give a little kudos, very, very, very small kudos to the Nets. Very, very small, because they still fumbled that Kyrie situation in multiple ways. And a little kudos for actually reading the room a little bit with the Ime Udoka thing. A week ago, it was pretty much signed, sealed, and delivered. The Ime Udoka was going to be announced as the Brooklyn Nets head coach. It has been a week that had not happened. Yesterday, the news came out that Jacques Vaughn was going to be named permanent head coach with a deal that pretty much goes through all of next season. So this is pretty much like an audition, kind of, to show people, to show the ownership of what he can, or can he be a coach long term for this team. And I gotta give him credit for just reading the room. I feel like with the negative, all the negative shit that they've come into this regular season with even before the Kyrie shit, with Kevin Durant demanding the trade, and not knowing what the hell is happening with Ben Simmons, and the way Harden left, and and then you add a situation with Ime Udoka into this shit. It's just not bad optics. And I'm not saying Ime doesn't deserve another shot. From all that we know, it wasn't anything that, he shouldn't get another shot to coach, but it was just bad optics. So I'm going to give a very, 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 very small shout out to the Nets for actually doing something that made a little sense here, man. And we'll see how this plays off for them the rest of the season, man. So that's all I got for the NBA right now. So we're going to, talk about the sport that runs the world, the league that runs the world. That is the National Football League, man. We're getting ready to start Week 10. Week 10 kicks off tonight in Carolina. The Carolina Panthers will be hosting the Atlanta Falcons. Little NFC South action tonight that I will not be watching, by the way. I have better use of my time, but that's how Week 10 kicks off tonight. We're going to, go into my Week 9 thoughts coming into Week 9. My first one I will start off with is the Indianapolis Colts. What the fuck? Like, first we get news this week. First of all, a god-awful loss to the New England Patriots last week. I don't even know Buddy who's starting the quarterback name. I apologize. But it's just been terrible. I mean, it was bad before, but it's like ever since they benched Matt Ryan, and this is not me caping for Matt Ryan, because Matt Ryan needs to go home and be a family man. I was wrong. I thought he had a little bit left in the tank. Atlanta Falcons fans told me that he didn't. I thought they were just being bitter, but they were right. They were right. He doesn't have much in the tank, but I feel like whatever he had in that tank is better than what this quarterback they got out here playing like. So they lose to the New England Patriots, and they fire Frank Reich this week, which I had a problem with, because it's like, how is it Frank Reich's fault that the quarterbacks ain't playing well? You know what I'm saying? Like, this franchise has not recovered from the decision that shook all of Indiana 4 years ago when Andrew Luck decided to retire, and they have just not been able to do it. They tried to get an old Phillip Rivers, did not work out. Gave Carson Wentz one more chance. Maybe there's a little something in there. Didn't work out. And then this year, maybe thinking a former MVP can revive it. Was nothing there. So I don't really know what you expect him to do with what he was given right now. And this offensive line has performed way worse than anybody has expected. This used to be one of the best lines in football. I mean, Quentin Nelson and all those guys have been performing, but this year has just been the complete opposite. But once I got past the shock of them firing Frank Reich, then we get news that they hired Jeff Saturday, legendary offensive lineman of the Indianapolis Colts, 2006 Super Bowl champion. By the way, he has my ring. Jeff Saturday and Peyton Manning have my ring, but I'm not going to go into another rant about that because I'll be here all day. To be the new interim head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. And everybody, including me, I was like, hold on, am I reading this right? Jeff Saturday, who has no football coaching experience. Yes, he's been coaching the football high school team, but that shit don't count. You coaching multi-millionaires out here, and then you're gonna have to hire somebody. Nobody in your coaching staff knows how to call plays. You got a general manager and Chris Ballard, who is the epitome of white privilege, that he still has a job. I don't understand it. And you go up here and give him the job. Now, when I first heard about it, my initial reaction was, damn, this is just another middle finger to the Rooney Rule. Then I started thinking about it a little more. And I'm like, you know what? While it is a little bit, it's also like I don't want black men to have these shitty jobs either. Like, why would you want a black man in a situation that he set up to fail, like in Indianapolis? You know what I'm saying? So I do. It kind of feels like that, but it's really just disrespectful to just any qualified candidate in general who put in the work to be a head coach, to do these things, to put themselves in there for these talks. And you just give a guy who literally was on TV a couple days ago, Jeff Saturday himself, said that he was surprised that he got the damn call. And I'm going to get into Jim Irsay later because, spoiler, he's my goofy mog of the week. But I'm going to explain a little bit more why he's my goofy mog of the week because of that weird-ass press conference he had a couple days ago. But it's just like something, it just doesn't make sense to me. And the thing that I was a little upset about, because I was like, well, they're going to take the interim tag off, give him a whole contract, and completely disregard the whole actual interview process for actual qualified candidates. And Jeff Saturday is probably a nice guy. I don't know the dude. He seems like he's a cool dude from stuff I read on TV, watch on TV. And I actually was pretty impressed with what he said yesterday about he knows how to coach lead them in. That's fine. But when you actually in the middle of battle, it's a whole different thing, man. So I don't know what the hell the Colts are doing over there. And I'll expand more on Jim Irsay in that press conference later in the show, man. But that was my first observation, is what is going on in Indianapolis. My number 4 observation coming from this past week is we are officially on Odell Beckham Jr. watch. Odell should be cleared to play within like a week or two. It will clear to resume football activities, probably play early December. And this is a thing where this guy, I feel, was on track to have a generational Super Bowl performance. He was cooking, and I feel like Cooper Kupp, and you can say ifs in sports really do suck. If it was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. But I do feel like if Odell didn't get hurt, that Super Bowl MVP would have been Odell's, and that game probably wouldn't have been as close as it was. But he got towards ACL, and I think everybody knew it, from his reaction right away. And now he's in a situation where he didn't sign in the offseason, which a lot of people were shocked about. Now he has his pick of the litter, and you've got all these teams who are either bona fide contenders trying to solidify their spots as contenders, like the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. And you got teams who if they add this to them, they'll be just right above and become an actual contender, like the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the rumor is right now that, that he might be heading to Dallas. Jerry Jones has been openly talking about him. Mike McCarthy has been openly talking about him. And I think from a big-time team aspect, Odell in Dallas would be kind of cool. And I don't like Cowboy fans. I have no problem with the Cowboys. I don't like Cowboy fans. They don't really deserve it. But I think that'd be a cool situation for him. But if I was him, I would go to Buffalo. Go with your brother Von, who you just won a Super Bowl with, who Von himself said that blood couldn't make y'all tighter. Go over there, help Josh Allen, bring a championship to Buffalo and that fan base out there. I think that would be cool. And I think it's amazing as a Chicago Bear fan, as a staunch Green Bay hater, that he's not going to Green Bay either, because they fucking suck. There's no Super Bowl love. There's no playoffs in the future because they have the same record as the damn Bears. So officially on Dale Wise, and I think that Odell has the balance of of power in the NFL in his hands, and he can shift that balance anytime over the next couple of weeks, man. So I'm really interested to see where he's going to land. My number 3 observation, man, is Patrick Mahomes, man. Like, Patrick Mahomes has finally got into the Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Trying to think of some other, guys. I'm only mentioning Giannis because of, his dominance currently, like a Tiger Woods or Venus and things like that, to where they're so great now that we don't even give them props as much. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying that Giannis is as great as the people I just named, because obviously LeBron, Mike, Tiger, Serena are all considered GOATs in their field, and Giannis isn't there yet. But Giannis could be MVP every year, but they're not going to vote for him MVP anymore because of voters fatigue. And I think it's the same thing we see with Patrick Mahomes, where he's so great that people aren't paying attention to the great shit that we're seeing. First of all, the Tennessee Titans should be ashamed of the way they lost that game, with him leading the team in rushing. And yes, he has a little speed on him. He ain't fast, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, that type of stuff shouldn't happen. And I didn't realize he threw the ball 68 times at that, too. But it's like Patrick Mahomes' greatness. Like, he should be a top 2 MVP candidate. And it's like we're not even hearing about him at all. And, even coming into the season, you had like some unanimous defensive coordinator who's a coward. Put your name on it. And, if you're going to talk greasy, put your name on it. I don't respect people like that who said that he's not a great quarterback. He plays backyard football. That sounds like a white coach comment, by the way. Basically, the shit that they say about black quarterbacks, and saying slash shit like that, or you're not going to do nothing without Tyreek Hill. And he's still out here dominating and putting this team in position to win. I mean, this team has no fucking running game, and they're still going out there and he's leading the team in rushing. They're going ahead and he's getting these W's. So I feel like appreciate Patrick Mahomes for what he's doing right now, because he is the best quarterback in the game right now. Even though I believe Josh Allen's having a better season, Patrick Mahomes is still the better quarterback. And just enjoy what you're witnessing right now. Don't take advantage of watching a dude as skilled as he is perform every week, man. Number two observation. This one makes me smile like a damn idiot. Justin Fields. Justin Fields has arrived, people. Justin Fields has arrived now. Of course, I do a lot of trolling on the internet. You're saying shit like, he's better than so-and-so. He's not. He's still young. He's got time. He's going to have another bad game. That's what happens when you're progressing as a young quarterback. He's going to have another bad game. She might have a couple bad games. You got to let all of this shit play out. But one thing I love was just the excitement from Bears fans over this last week, because we've never had anything like that. If I hear about Sid Luckman one more damn time, I'm going to scream. I've never even seen a picture of Sid Luckman, and I don't know anybody who's a bigger Chicago Bears fan than me. When they won in '85, Jim McMahon wasn't cold. Jim McMahon is mediocre. Jim McMahon had the greatest defense of all time and the greatest running back of all time. And just because he wore cool ass shades and told people to fuck off every time, we treat this man like he's fucking Dan Marino. Jay Cutler had great talent. Probably the most talent up until Justin that we've ever had in that position as a Chicago Bears quarterback. He just didn't give a damn. Yeah, Jay didn't care. And that was Jay's biggest thing. Even though I will say, 2011, Jay, I really feel like Jay was on the cusp of being a really good quarterback. The Bears were like 7-1. He was doing great. His interceptions was down. And then he messed it. I think he like tore something in his thumb like week 9 against the Lions and was out for the rest of the season. The Bears missed the playoffs, and he never really, came back the same. But I digress. My point is, Justin Fields, we're seeing this growth, and that's all you want to see from him. There was a lot of question marks in this coming into this year, and what Justin's going to be like. Does this new front office believe in him as the guy they're going to build around, because he wasn't drafted by this regime. He was drafted by Ryan Pace in the old regime. And I also want to say, a lot of people out there saying we got to give it to Ryan Pace, we drafted Justin Fields. No, the hell we don't. All you did was clear a mistake that I don't give a damn how great Justin becomes. Doesn't clear that mistake of not drafting Patrick Mahomes. So no, he doesn't. You don't get credit for mopping up a mess that you made. That's like when somebody says, "Oh, he's such a great father." He's supposed to be. Would you want to leave your kids out on the damn street? You don't get points for that. So no, I'm not giving that to Ryan Pace. But to see his growth, And just a month ago, we were sitting there. I said up on this show, I said on 79th and Hollis, they were setting this man up to fail. But it's like something clicked. And Matt Eberflus and Luke Getsy doing the mini bye week and say, you know what? We have a quarterback that runs a 4-4. Let's call some designated runs. Let's move the offensive line. Let's move the pocket around. Let's put them in better positions to succeed. Yes, we don't have a great offensive line. Yes, we don't have a great wide receiver core, but let's do things to make him better. And ever since, honestly, we saw signs of it in the Minnesota game. He was robbed of glory at the end of that game because his wide receiver couldn't hold on to the ball. He's robbed of glory twice at the end of the Washington Commanders game because his receivers couldn't catch the ball. But what we saw in that New England game, going up into New England against a great defense they got out there. Matthew Judon was on his ass. I think he sacked him like 2 or 3 times and have a dominant game and really starting to show the confidence and goes out there and does it against the Dallas Cowboys and that great defense they've got out there. Yeah, they lost, but he put up a lot of points. It's the 3rd week in a row they've scored 30 points. I can't remember the last time a Chicago Bears team scored 30 points 3 weeks in a row. I don't remember the last time it happened. Maybe that was during the first year we had Trestman, when it was Cutler and Brandon Marshall and Alshon Jeffrey and Matt Forte and Martellus Bennett. That might have been the last time, but that was a decade ago. So to see that growth from it, and when have you ever seen the Bears be in a shootout? There was in a shootout with maybe the most prolific, at least top 2 most prolific offense in football right now in the Miami Dolphins. The defense just couldn't guard anything. And to have that shootout and see Justin, early in the season, I would see that he wasn't sure on these passes he would throw. He would throw it too late. And that's how he would get intercepted. He looked indecisive. All that stuff doesn't look that. He's growing each week. And we finally have a situation where we feel like this kid can be the franchise quarterback. And that's something bright to look forward to. This team, I picked them to win 7 games at the end of the season. I'm going to stick to that. I do think they're going to go 500 over these next 8 games. That if this offense can at least put up enough points for them to win, that it's going to be fun to watch. And this is something that, as you see, that the front office, if they had any doubts, which I wasn't in the camp of them thinking they had doubts. If you had any doubts just to the trade for Chase Claypool, should tell you that they're behind this guy. Now you got $130 million to build that defense back up and to get a better wide receiver core, whether it's in the draft. You got 9 draft picks. So this is a big offseason for the Chicago Bears, but it's just fun to see Justin Fields finally perform like, the quarterback that we all should have been taking number 2. If everybody with a brain knows that, to see him grow. And that's just something fun as a Bears fan, as a Bears media to watch. And it's good for the NFL too. And I've said it for years that the Bears are the football Knicks. We're going to be on TV 3 to 4 times a year just because we the Bears, even though we ass. But if you give them an actual quarterback, that's like you putting an actual superstar on the Knicks. You think you tired of the Knicks now. Well, let's actually think about what happened if the Knicks had like a Giannis. Oh, my God. And I'm not saying, obviously Justin's not there yet. I'm not saying that Justin is, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen. No, he's still got a ways to go, but he's playing well and he's actually growing. That's all you can ask for right now, man. I think it's real fun time for Bears fans. My last recap point before we get on to my power rankings. The AFC East is what we thought the AFC West was going to be. This is the best division in football right now. You've got 3 teams who are, over 500. You got the Bills right now. They're 6-2. And you've got the Jets and the Dolphins who are behind the 6-3. And you've got the New England Patriots who are, I think they're like, 5-4, something at least at 500 right now. And they're all competing. And it's a thing that, to me, where the AFC East is about to get interesting. Now, Josh Allen injured himself in the loss to the Jets this past weekend. They're hoping it's not a UCL joint. He was listed as limited in practice majority this week. He did not practice today at all, which is kind of concerning. He's game time decision for Sunday. And this is why I said it's going to get interesting, because the Dolphins and the Jets are only a half game back of the Bills. The Bills have been so dominant and playing so hard and playing so good that you think they have the same division lead that the Minnesota Vikings have, when that's not the case. And not only are they only up half a game, they've lost to both teams that's behind them. The Jets beat them at the crib and Miami beat them. So this is something that if Josh Allen's injury lingers, I can see them coughing up this division lead. And later on in the season, those matchups are going to be more impactful. And we're getting that competition all across the board, something we haven't seen in shit. I don't even, at least not in my time ever, because the 20-year reign of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and the Patriots, it was never a competitive division. And the Bills have run this division for the last couple years, but now it's like we've got a legit competition here, man. And two of those boys are ready. The Jets are a very well coached team. They got a great defense. Got to get running game. Sauce Gardner, I think, is defensive rookie of the year. I mean, he's been shutting down elite wide receivers. The biggest question mark for them is the question mark that the Bears had in 2018 and 2019 when they had great defense and great running game. Can your quarterback actually throw the ball, which is the biggest issue? And Zach Wilson has not done so far. But this is still a division I feel is officially a 3-team race. I'm going to be very interested to see what happens over these last couple of days to see if Josh Allen plays or not. Because if he isn't, it's going to get real hot in the kitchen for the Bills, man. So those are my observations from week 9. And here are my power rankings for week 9 heading into week 10. For the first time all season, the Buffalo Bills have been dethroned as my number 1. But we're going to start my number 10 team, the Baltimore Ravens. As y'all know, I have not been the biggest Lamar Jackson fan. As far, I wouldn't say that. I'm a Lamar Jackson fan, but I've always said I just don't feel like he had the strongest passing game. And I feel like this year he shut me up. He's playing very well. I feel like he is in that MVP conversation. I feel like I don't understand why the Ravens haven't paid this man. Like, he should have got his money long ass time ago. And they're starting to play well in this division. They have the division lead. I have no faith in the Bengals right now. You know, they did dominate the team they just beat this past week. The team who they played escapes my mind. It was the Panthers. That's what it was. And the Ravens are playing well. Roquan Smith had a pretty solid game on Monday night, and they did what they had to do against a team in the New Orleans Saints. And I think that this is the team to be reckoned with going forward. If Lamar keeps playing the way they playing, and this defense keeps playing the way they're playing. So I'm going to have the Baltimore Ravens at number 10. Number 9, the Giants did not play this week. They had a bye week, but I'm still keeping them there because of their record. And the record they got coming up is pretty soft. This might be a team that we sit up here and we look, and they're and they are like 11-6. You know what I'm saying? Or they are, in the 12-win range. I don't believe in them because I don't believe in their quarterback. And to me, that's what it comes down to today's game and era in NFL is what kind of quarterback do you have. But the way that their schedule's set up and the last couple wins they've had, I'm going to keep them at the number 9 spot. And number 8, I've got the team that plays in the same building, the New York Jets. Huge win this past weekend over the Buffalo Bills. Zach Wilson had a pretty decent game. He needs to build off that and get better. The defense has been great, and they did something that a lot of teams haven't been able to do this year, and that is beat the Buffalo Bills at the crib. Love what Robert Saleh is doing over there coaching this team. So I'm going to have them at the number 8 position on my power rankings. Number 7, I'm going with a team who I said I believe in a couple weeks ago, officially, the Seattle Seahawks, man. Geno Smith is looking like a legit MVP candidate. The defense is good. The running game is good. Pete Carroll out here sending shots to everybody. I'm loving everything, and I'm buying everything that they are selling in Seattle. They got a big game in Germany this weekend against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. I'm going to go with Seattle at number 7. Number 6 on my list is a team who beat my team this past weekend. Is Tua and the Miami Dolphins. This is a prolific offense that we're seeing right now with Tua and Tyreek Hill. And I apologize, Tyreek Hill. Now, I was talking about earlier, everybody said that Pat wasn't going to be the same without Tyreek Hill. I was on the opposite of saying Tyreek wasn't going to be the same without Pat. And boy, have I been wrong. If they actually gave MVP, if MVP wasn't a quarterback award, he will be right there in that conversation. He's up there breaking records. Jalen Waddle's an amazing compliment to him. They're doing everything good. They got Bradley Chubb. And of course, he'll be more acclimated into the defense next week. Didn't play a lot of snaps because he just joined the team midweek. Looked like he was out of breath when he tried to tackle Justin Fields multiple times last week. But I really love what they're doing in Miami, and I don't think this is a team that you want to play late in the season and especially in the playoffs. I'm going to put them at number 6. Number 5 is another team that had a bye week this week, but I still love the way they're playing. They've got Dak back. They might be getting Odell Beckham. To me, they have the best defense in football currently, and that is the Dallas Cowboys, man. And their schedule gets a little lighter too. And I'm really interested to see when the next time they play the Eagles, because I don't feel, even though the Eagles are undefeated, I don't think this division is over yet. I do think the Eagles will drop a couple games. It's just going to happen. So I'm going to put the Cowboys at number 5. Entering my top 4, the Minnesota Vikings are in my top 4. like I said, I don't believe in the Minnesota Vikings either. There's three teams on this rankings list that I don't believe in, but this is not a list of who I think is going to win the Super Bowl. This is just a week to week thing, and I can't give a team that's I think they're like 7-2 or some shit like that right now. I wish I don't have the stat in front of me. I apologize, but they're at least I think they're 7-2. They had a nice comeback win over the Commanders, and Kirk Cousins been playing decent. But Kirk Cousins giveth and Kirk Cousins taketh away. The videos of him with wearing the chains is funny and shit, but that's not gonna change them when the playoffs come. And I feel the same way about the Vikings that I feel about the San Francisco 49ers. They've got everything. They got a great defense. They got a great running game. They've got great wide receivers. They've got everything you want in a championship contender, but their quarterback ain't gonna take you over the top. And I always say the worst thing to have, and not just football, but sports in general, is to be in the middle. And Kirk Cousins and Jimmy G aren't bad quarterbacks. They're good quarterbacks, but they're not good enough to make a impact. And they're just going to be stuck there. And I think eventually Kirk Cousins will hold them back. But from what we've seen in the regular season, man, they've been great, and they're going to win this division by multiple games because all y'all got sent off by the Lions. The Bears are who we thought they're going to be, and the Packers, like I said, are sorry. So they're going to run away with this division. So I'm going to put them at number 4. This team was number 1 on my power rankings for 8 weeks, 2 whole ass months. They are dropped 2 spots. The Buffalo Bills are number 3 on my list. They've lost 2 games this year. Both of them been to division opponents. They're only a half up. We don't know what the hell is going on with Josh Allen's injury. You never want to hear about shoulder or elbow injuries as a quarterback. That's very scary. So we don't know what that's going to happen. They might blow this lead if he's not healthy, and you got 2 hot teams like Miami and the Jets behind them, man. And it was just not a good game for them this week. Josh Allen is throwing a lot of picks over these last 2 weeks. And that's the thing, like I was talking about with Justin a little earlier. Quarterbacks, man, it's a up and even when you're established like a Josh Allen, you're gonna have some games where you shit. He been shit the last 2 games. So that just happens, man. And I really feel like they're at a turning point in this season going forward. So I'm going to put them number 3. Number 2 will be the team that the Bills beat a couple weeks ago. It's the Kansas City Chiefs, man. They're finding a way to win one way or another. I didn't know that Pat threw the ball 68 times. I looked at the box sheet yesterday. I was like, what the hell? He's doing what he got to do to win. And this is a team that we need to be talking about more. Like I said, everybody is ignoring Pat because of how great he's been. But this team is good. They have, adjusted to losing to Tyreek Hill. And this is something that they're going to continue to do what they got to do to win. So I'm going to put them number 2. And my new number 1 is the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles. Took care of business last week in Houston against the Texans. They've been great. Jalen Hurts looking like an MVP. AJ Brown's looking great. Offensive line is great. Running game is great. Defense is great. There's no negative thing to say about the Philadelphia Eagles right now, man. So, and they got a division Monday night game against Commanders this week. And you always got to be careful with them NFC East primetime matchups in division because it always gets interesting, man. So those are my power rankings, and the Philadelphia Eagles are number 1. Let's see how long they hold on to this. So we're going to get into my week 10 preview, man, my top 3 must-watch games of the week. Now, number 3 kind of has an asterisk to it because we're waiting to see if Josh Allen's going to play or not. But I got Bills-Vikings. If Josh Allen does play, I feel like this will be a game that will be everybody needs to tune into. This will be a game that the Vikings can prove to America who doubts them, like me, that they can beat Super Bowl contenders, and they are legit. And this is something where the Bills can just bounce back from a loss to the Jets and say, yo, we still run this and go out here and make easy work of a division leader. So, but this is all resting on the shoulders of Josh Allen if he plays now. If he doesn't play on Sunday, that's a game I'm not even going to waste my time watching. Number 2, Niners and Chargers. And I say this is a must watch because this is a team in the Chargers who have underperformed, but they've done enough to at least stay in the wild card conversation. And you got a Niners team who is, dealing with a lot of injury. They got a lot of shit injury luck. And finally getting some offensive momentum with Christian McCaffrey coming back. Can they sustain it and go on a run of a couple games instead of playing this 500 type of football? And this is going to be a big game for both of them. So I'm going to put them in number 2. Number 1 is at Lambeau Field, the Dallas Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers. This is a game where the Cowboys can punch them in the mouth and assert their dominance. This is a game for the Packers where they need to get off the schneid. Like they don't want to. I can't remember the last time a Packer team especially a Packers team led by Aaron Rodgers lost like 6 in a row. I think this would be like their 6th loss if they lose this week. So they got to do what they got to do to try to, put their foot down and try to get a W. While the Cowboys can be one of the teams to help put the nail in the coffin and then get a little get back for the last time they was in Lambeau Field, man. So I'm going to say those are my top 3 must watch, and I've got 3 sneaky good games. Dolphins, Browns in Miami is sneaky good because the Browns have a really good running game. Jacoby Brissett has been doing enough to put his team in position to win and hold the fort down while Nasty Man is still suspended. This is a game that can go either way because if the Dolphins don't come out and blow them off right away, this can be a game that can go down the wire just because of the style of football that the Browns play, man. So this is a real interesting game because every game counts. I mean, every game counts for everybody, but really counts for the Browns because you want to be able to put yourself in a workable position in the AFC North for when Deshaun Watson does come back to give yourself not only a chance to win the playoffs, but a chance to win this still division because as good as Baltimore is playing, and even though Cincinnati is staying alive, this division can go down to the wire if they just hold down the fort for at least another couple weeks, which is actually beyond like 3 weeks at this time. So actually it's 3 weeks, 4 games before Deshaun Watson is allowed to come back. So that's something that's very, very important game for them. Number 2 sneaky good games, Rams, Cardinals. I put this on here before I saw that Matthew Stafford was in concussion protocol. So I no longer think it's a sneaky good game, but I wrote it before that, so we're just going to stick with it. So my reasoning for it don't really matter. I was going to say this is a game that both teams need because both of them are on the brink of, being out of playoff contention. But if Matthew Stafford doesn't play, Arizona's going to easily win this game. I don't know about easy because Arizona be tweaking, but they're going to win this game. And my number 1 sneaky good game is the game this Sunday in Germany, in Munich, Germany. It will be the Seattle Seahawks and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is a big one because Seattle can go out here, beat the GOAT in Germany. And I love Tom Brady. Y'all know how I feel about Tom Brady on this show. If you follow me, he's my favorite football player of all time. But I'm not folding off the little comeback last week. I'm not. Nothing about that comeback told me, oh, yo, the Bucs are back. No, it just said the Rams fucking tweaked at the end of the game. He was floating a lot of them passes. They were running a hurry up offense. So it was just one of the things where they weren't really doing everything they did in that drive. They haven't done in that game and haven't done all season. I see no way how that sustains themselves. But this is a game where if they win, they can continue to be like, we just going to keep winning games and keep trying to put it together. And we get in the playoffs. And in the day, we got the greatest player of all time, and they don't. We don't roll the dice with that. But I don't believe that's going to happen. So this is going to be a very important game that I'm actually going to wake up early for to watch. So that's my 3 sneaky good games of the week. Let's get into my week 10 predictions. Now, of course, my week 9 picks. Last week I had a record of 9-4. Pretty damn good. That moves my overall record. And of course, there's a week removed because I was off for 1 week. My overall record is 78, 42-1. So I think I know what I'm talking about. So let's get into our predictions, man. Tonight, like I said, week 10 kicks off in Carolina between the Atlanta Falcons and the Carolina Panthers. The Falcons won a very close game in Mercedes-Benz Dome a couple weeks ago where they beat the Panthers. I think this will be another competitive game again, but I do have the Falcons winning tonight on Thursday Night Football. Seahawks and Bucks, like I just mentioned a couple seconds ago, the international game this week in Munich, Germany. I have the Seahawks winning this one. I think it'll be a great game for Geno. They're going to do what they're going to do. Brady's just not Brady anymore. I think it's kind of wild to see these players who we grew up on these last 20 years not look the same. Brady doesn't look the same. Rodgers don't look the same. LeBron don't look the same. It's a real change of the guard in these 2 leagues right now. And I just feel like it's Tom Brady's going to have a season of hell. His season of hell is going to continue to go on because I do think the Seahawks are going to win this game. Bills and Vikings. I'm picking the Bills if Josh Allen plays. So I have reserved the right to change if Sunday comes and he's not playing. If Josh Allen plays, I got the Bills. If not, I got the Vikings winning this football game. Bears, Lions. Don't know if we're going to have a preview pod for y'all this week because my brother is sick once again. And I appreciate all the 79th Howlers fans who were roasting him in the comments last week, saying he had a Bradley Beal immune system. Very funny. But I'm going to pick the Bears in this game. I don't know if I'm going to do a preview pod, so I'm just going to give you the score. I think that I think Justin Fields is going to put on another show. He's done very well against 3 pretty good defenses. He's going up against a defense that is currently the worst defense in the league. I don't feel like it'll be a blowout because the Bears defense isn't good either, and they're terrible against the run. But I do think this is a game that they're going to win by at least double digits. I'm going to say right now they're going to win, I'll say 32-20, I'll say. Because I don't know if I'm going to do the preview pod and I usually get my scores. I'm going to say Bears win 32-20. Titans, Broncos. Why would you waste your time watching this? Neither quarterback can throw. The Broncos can't even run the football well. You know, the Titans going to win this one going away because they have Derrick Henry and they don't. It's really that damn simple. Chiefs, Jaguars. Real good game for Trevor Lawrence last week. Love to see that. This is gonna be a washing of epic proportions. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are gonna make easy work with the Jaguars. Dolphins, Browns. Like I said earlier, had them sticky good games. I think this will be an uncomfortable game for the Dolphins. I do feel like it's a game they will pull out on their crib. And Tua is a better quarterback than Jacoby Brissett, and they're gonna score more points. So I'm gonna go with the Dolphins. Giants, Texans. Whew, man, we were just talking about coaches put in fucked up positions. I really hope they don't fire Lovie Smith because I don't know what the hell they expect him to do in this situation. That's the thing I was talking about putting black quarterbacks in situations where they can't win. This is a situation where Lovie can't win. And I just hope that he's able to come back. But the Giants are going to beat them. They're not going to blow them out because offensively nobody's scared of them. But they're going to go out here. They're going to get a hard-nosed defensive running game was great. Daniel Jones did enough to not fuck us over a type win for the Giants, what they've been doing all year. Cowboys, Packers. Not only are the Cowboys going to win on Sunday in Lambeau Field, they're going to mop the floor with the Cheeseheads this week. 100%. I'm going with the Cowboys. Rams, Cardinals. We don't know if Matthew Stafford is playing. It's the same thing with Vikings, Bills. If Matthew Stafford plays, I guess I'll pick the Rams. If Matthew Stafford don't play, I'm going to go with the Cardinals. Niners, Chargers, Sunday Night Football. I'm going to go Niners. I just don't trust that Charger offense. It's very nasty to watch because they have a quarterback with generational talent in Justin Herbert, and they're just not using him correctly. And they're dealing with a lot of injuries too. So I'm going to go with the Niners. I feel like they found something. They finally got Christian McCaffrey. Use them the way they want to use them. And I think that'll be a big thing for them going forward. And the last game of the week, Monday Night Football, Eagles over Commanders. For me, I got the Eagles because the Commanders are a bad football team. They will be able to be in the fight. I don't think they'll blow this team out because it's an NFC East division game. And I think they'll win. I don't know who is going to beat the Eagles, but I do not see them being undefeated. We're getting very close to that. Will they go 17-0 conversation? But there's going to be some random team that you don't think is going to beat them. It's going to be them. So it might be the Commanders this week, but I'm going to go with the Eagles, man. So that's all I've got for my Week 10 preview. We're going to close this up with my Goofy Mog of the Week. I'm going to give my Goofy Mog of the Week to the Colts owner, Mr. Jim Irsay, for one of the most hilarious press conferences I've ever seen in my life, where he went up there and basically told the world, you're not smarter than me because I'm a billionaire. And I'm going to do what the hell I want. He said, I'm glad that Jeff Saturday doesn't have experience because he doesn't know what it means to be scared. If you're scared, it's going to affect your coaching. You know what else affects coaching? Never having an opportunity to coach before. And he said something like, oh, we're glad he was available. What the hell was Jeff Saturday doing? Going to Ralph's? I mean, there was nothing else for him to do. Of course he was damn available. And then he went on a little rant about, you don't want to question this guy. If you want to bet me, if you want to bet against me, which is cool. I like it. I like greasy talk. I'm a big fan of greasy talk. If I was a billionaire, I talk way worse than Jim Irsay talks. But I digress. Him saying all these things and then saying, well, in the last 20 years, we're in the upper percentile. Oh, no, I don't know if it's percentile, but some word he used. We said like 3 times. The percentile of the percentile, some shit like that, of teams that's won. Yeah, because you had one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, Peyton Manning, and then the year where he couldn't move his neck, and you had to sit him for the whole season. You got lucky, no pun intended, and just landed Andrew Luck into your lap. That doesn't make you a great franchise. The Packers have had great quarterbacks for 30 years. They're not a great franchise. It just means you had a great quarterback. That's all that means. So for him sitting up there acting like, he's one step ahead of us, I think it's crazy. I'm going to give him his Goofy Mog of the Week, and I'm actually rooting for this to fail. And not because I have anything against Jeff Saturday. Like I said earlier, he might be a nice guy. I don't know him. But it's the motivation behind this thing where I hope it fails. So I'm gonna give my Goofy Mog of the Week to Mr. Jim Irsay, man. That's all I have for y'all today. I'm glad y'all could join me, man. It's always good to come on here. Next week, might be on the same time, maybe an hour earlier, hour later. We'll see. I will be in Chicago next week. There will not be a show the week after that because it'll obviously be Thanksgiving. So I'll be traveling a lot. We're going to Atlanta to do the Bears-Falcons game. Going to New York City to do the Bears-Jets game. So if y'all see me in them cities, holla at your boy. We can talk. So, and kick it and shit like that, man. So y'all know to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at BarbChestScott. You know to follow H&B Media and H&B Media TV on Twitter and at H&B Media on Instagram. You can follow the Barbers Chair Network at Barbers Chair Net on Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/Barbers Chair Network. We got a new episode of Summer Sessions out right now. Y'all can go check that out. We're going to get these Cinema with the Guys episodes y'all real soon. We're going to recap, all the things going on in Marvel and Star Wars. Of course, we're going to have a Black Panther Wakanda Forever movie breakdown pod, which I'm going to go see in about an hour and a half. We just got to wait for my brother to be able to talk again. He doesn't have a voice again, so we're just waiting for that. So that will be coming. And you can visit the bcnet.com right now. The Barbershop Shop will be coming soon, man. We're a couple months away from my 5-year anniversary doing this media thing, man. So we appreciate all y'all, and I'll holler at y'all next week, man. We out.
Getting paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna